As we look at important settings on your computer, making adjustments to audio is pretty essential. So let's take a look at those settings. I'm going to go into my settings application here, and we're actually not going to find anything in here for audio. If you go through any of these categories, you're not going to find audio. So audio works a little bit differently. Now, one way we can get to our audio settings would be to search right here in the settings app. So I'm going to click on the search field and I'll search for either audio or sound, either way. And one of the options that we get is sound. I click on that and it opens up this panel. So here we have a few tabs and some adjustments that I can make for audio. But I'm going to close this for the moment, but we are going to come right back to it. So I'm going to hit cancel. I'm actually going to close my settings as well. Now, the most common adjustment that you'll need to make to your audio is simply the volume level. And you can do that without going into any settings panel. You just go to the taskbar, into the system tray, there's a button that looks like a speaker. You can click on that and you can adjust your volume level. So I can drag that left and right to change how loud the audio is when it plays out of my speakers. But sometimes you do need more control than that. So you do need to go to some sort of settings panel. So instead of clicking on that speaker icon, what you can do is right-click on it, and you can open up Volume Mixer. So here I can change the master volume for the speakers on my computer, and then I've got this separate slider. This will control the volume for the applications on my computer. Now there's really not much sense in changing these two independently at this point. But if you install more complex applications on your computer that use audio controls in different ways, then you may have other sliders that you may need to mix together. So this first slider would be your master volume control for everything mixed together, but then you could have separate sliders for separate controls for different tools on your computer. But for a simple setup like mine, you generally don't need to go into this because this master slider is the same as simply clicking on this button and changing this slider here. So let's look at some more options. I'm going to go back to this button, right-click on it, and this time I'm going to choose Playback Devices. And that is going to open up that same panel that we saw a moment ago after we did a search inside of Settings. So some computers have more than one output device. For example, your computer might have a headphone jack and built-in speakers, or one output jack for desktop speakers and a second one for headphones. My computer has an output for the built-in speakers on the display that I have connected. Then I have an output for the built-in speakers on my computer itself. And then I have an output setting for headphones, and I don't have any headphones plugged in right now. So this panel is where you would come to adjust any specific settings related to those output devices. So I can double click on any of these output devices and I get some more options. And you might jump through these tabs. I can see some information about how audio works on these devices. Here I have a level control specifically for this output device and so on. I'm not going to make any changes here. I'm just going to hit cancel. But the most important setting we need to talk about here in this panel is changing your default audio output. So for example, if you play some audio and you hear audio coming out of one output, maybe out of your headphones, but you actually want the audio to come out of another audio output, maybe your built-in speakers, you can change that here. So as this computer is set up, if I play anything, maybe music or I play a video, the audio is going to play out of the speakers that are built into the display that I have connected to my computer. But if I want to use the built-in speakers on the computer instead, I can select my built-in speakers item and hit Set as Default. And now the green check mark moves to those speakers. So now when I play audio, it'll play through the built-in speakers. So these are the settings for output. These are the devices that you can use to play sound out from your computer. But if we flip over to the Recording tab, we can see the different inputs on our computer. So I can see there's a built-in microphone and it's picking up my voice here. And if I had other recording devices connected to my computer, I could switch which one I want to be the default and which one I want to use to record with. Now there are some other options here, and there may be some options that look different on your computer. But it's very important to at least know where to go to access your audio settings. And now you've got that. You can right-click on the speaker icon in your taskbar, go to Playback Devices or Volume Mixer, and you should have all the controls that most users would need.